What's up, millennials? I expected Drozd to leave as the CEO of AgEagle, but not this soon. Today we're going to talk about the departure of Michael Drozd, the resume of the new CEO Brandon Torres Declet, and his vision for the drone age. So let's do it! Just 2 months ago I created a video about the then CEO of AgEagle, Michael Drozd, and I was talking a little bit about this guy because he seemed to be hopping from university to university and also from company to other companies. So I was actually wondering in this video out loud if he was going to stay on for long or not. I actually thought he was going to build up AgEagle pretty fast within a few years' time. I think I said like 5 years' time. And then I thought he was actually going to leave the company and pursue different career opportunities, of course. But that happened quite a bit faster than I anticipated, than I expected. He actually left, well, within 2 months after I published this video instead of a few years. As we can see, according to the statement on the AgEagle website, the current CEO, Brandon Torres Declet, is succeeding the previous CEO, of course, Michael Drozd, who has elected to leave AgEagle to pursue new career opportunities. Well, the thing is, I'm not entirely sure if he is already pursuing new career opportunities, because right now, if we go to his LinkedIn page, we can see that currently Michael Drozd is open to work, so he is looking for new positions, new career opportunities, but he hasn't really found one just yet. So one thing I'm wondering here is, did he actually step down willingly? Because according to the statement, he did elect to leave. But yeah, we're not entirely sure, of course, what happened, what his exact reasons were for leaving AgEagle. There's also a statement from Drozd on this page over here at AgEagle, and he says that he is very proud of what they achieved, what they accomplished at AgEagle over the last year. They increased shareholder revenue or value by approximately 350%, revenues by about 333% in just 1 year time, revenue growth rate continuing into 2021, increasing gross profit from 32% to 45%. So it's quite interesting to see that Michael Drozd is really focusing on the numbers here, because he is definitely a numbers guy. He's definitely a businessman, as we have seen in the previous video just 2 months ago. He doesn't really seem to have a lot of heart for the drone industry. So I think that this position at AgEagle has simply been a solid addition to his already quite impressive resume, and now he is, of course, looking for new additions to his resume. So the new CEO, Brandon Torres Declet, who is this guy exactly? What has he done in the past and what is he going to do in the future? Well, we're going to try to do this chronologically. We're first going to talk a little bit about what he has done in order to get into this position of CEO at AgEagle. We're going to try to do this chronologically because, well, on this page at the website of AgEagle, it's not always done chronologically. So we're actually going to start at the very bottom over here. We can see that, Brandon holds a JD from Fordham University School, a JD. I had to look it up because I didn't know this, but it is apparently a Doctor of Law degree. And he also has an LLM from the Georgetown University Law Center. LLM stands for Master of Laws. So he is definitely schooled in the world of law. That's quite interesting to see. We see that Michael Drozd, was very focused on the business side of things, but Declet, Brandon Torres Declet, of course, he is more focused on the law side of things. Then before he founded Measure, he did quite a lot of things. As you can see, my highlights are all over the place. I could have mainly just highlighted the entire section because this guy has done quite a bit. If we start at the top over here, we can see that Brandon Torres Declet has been managing the defense and homeland security government relations. He also had senior level positions for the NYPD, the New York Police Department. Also the the Senate and Intelligence and Judiciary Committees and the House Homeland Security Committee. Then he served as the counsel on Capitol Hill. He led the intelligence programs at the NYPD Counterterrorism Bureau. He coordinated drone policy for the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security. And he also served on the UAS Registration Task Force Aviation Rulemaking Committee. That's a mouthful. And authored a precedent-setting Section 333 exemption. And then we can see that after those pretty impressive feats, he co-founded Measure in the year 2014. Then in the beginning of this year, in January 2021, Brandon, was appointed to the Federal Aviation Administration's Drone Advisory Committee, which is the DAC. I'm just going to call that the DAC for now. And this is a committee that provides the FAA, so the Federal Aviation Administration, with advice to create a strategy for safely integrating drones into the national airspace system. On this website, we can see that Brandon is one of the 12 appointees to provide advice to the Secretary of Transportation. We also see that he is going to serve a 2-year term, so basically until like January 2023. And we can see a list of the new members of this DAC, of this committee, and one is actually very interesting. So we have Brandon over here, and we see another interesting name, which I already provided in a different video about AgEagle, which is David Carbon. He is the Vice President and General Manager of, wait for it, Amazon Prime Air. Apart from being a member of the DAC, he is now also named a senior advisor to the Oxford University Center for Technology and Global Affairs, and he was also recognized as a tech titan by the Washingtonian magazine. Now, I'm not entirely sure if that last part is very significant, because according to this website, there's like 200 or 170 people who are on this list of being tech titans. 40 of them are entrepreneurs, and Brandon Torres Declet is one of those 40 entrepreneurs of one of those 170 people in total being recognized as tech titans. And then on April 19 of this year, 2021, he became the COO, so the Chief Operating Officer of AgEagle, and he also joined the Board of Directors. And then, of course, at the end of May, just a few weeks ago, or a little bit more than 1 week ago, he actually became the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer of AgEagle. And in order to understand Brandon Torres Declet a little bit better, I tried to look him up, and I actually watched a few interviews of him with different people, actually. He seems to be a way more public guy than Michael Drozd has ever been. I think Michael Drozd was almost never available for an interview. I've never really seen an interview of Michael Drozd on YouTube, I believe. So he's definitely more public than Drozd. I kind of like that. I like a little bit more transparency by a CEO, for example. And I'm just going to mention a few important topics that I captured from these videos. The first one being that Brandon actually sees real adoption by companies, because he sees that, first of all, a few years ago, the companies were mainly looking for a few drones to integrate those into their companies, but now they are looking for many drones at the same time. Brandon also says he wants to listen to the customers, he wants to help them scale at the same time. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that is going to work out for AgEagle exactly. Then a very interesting thing is he says that the technology is already there, but they are kind of waiting for the legislation, because right now he says that he is already, or well, the companies are already able to fly 50 drones at the same time beyond the visual line of sight with just 1 or 2 pilots out there. But he says that right now it's not legally possible just yet. So the technology is there, legislation is not, but the good thing is, of course, that Declet is on the DAC, the Drone Advisory Committee, to make this happen and to provide advice to the legislators, to the regulators, to make sure that everyone is able to fly legally. However, he does say a few things about the Drone Advisory Committee and about regulation too, because he believes that the progress is going to be slower than most people think. So it could definitely be a while, potentially a few years, until we see the real regulation we need so that drones can operate at a massive scale. Another little fun fact is that he mentioned that he has been working for Walmart a few years ago, actually in 2016, where he did drone deliveries for Walmart, or basically testing drone deliveries for Walmart. But right now, I believe other drone companies are working with Walmart. So right now, the company he has been working with, Measure, is not one of those companies. So unfortunately, I don't think that Walmart is that massive e-commerce client that AgEagle is right now working with either. And one very interesting thing that he mentions is the focus on pilots, because when he was talking a little bit about autonomous drones, he believed that first we should be listening to the pilots, because they are the heart of their operations, of the drone operations right now, and they should become the advocates for the drone industry. He believes that without those people, we are not even able to come to a world where we can fly with autonomous drones. So first we need to listen to their experience, we need to listen to them for advice, wise, and then we can transition at some point to autonomous drones instead. So those are just a few main topics that Brandon Torres Declet has been talking about in these interviews. I would like to interview him myself as well, so I'm going to send him a message on LinkedIn to see if we can set up an interview to talk about all of these things. I've got many questions lined up already. So personally, I'm very happy with the change. I prefer to have a CEO who has a passion for the drone industry instead of someone who has a passion for building businesses, basically. So I'm very much looking forward to talking with Declet if he lets me. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing from you as well. Do you believe this is a good change for AgEagle, or do you think that Michael Drozd was actually a better CEO after all? Let me know in the comments. And with that being said, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye!